Hi everyone, welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Mr. Rachit Chawla, who is the founder of Finway and Alphabot. Uh, Hi Rachit, welcome to ELI.
Hi Priya, thank you so much for making me come on the show.
I would request you to introduce yourself to our audience.
Okay, so hi guys, I'm Rachit Chawla. I'm the founder and CEO of Finway FSC and also a founder of Alphabot. So we are into financial services, and our mission is to empower people financially when it comes to investing or when it comes to borrowing.
Mhm. Okay. Uh, so before we start talking about the venture, can you give us a little uh, brief into your background, as in how was your childhood? Any hint of entrepreneurship during your early stage of the journey, and how entrepreneurship happened to you?
Yeah, so I think Priya, I was always an entrepreneur from the very beginning because I belong to a business family. And in business
Mm-hmm.
family, what happens is most of the breakfast or dinner conversations on the table is around business because everybody is really passionate and you overhear things what your elders are saying. So it was always very clear in my mind that I would want to do something entrepreneurial in my journey.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I remember I was studying in Delhi Public School, Mathura Road, and at a very early age, around in seventh or eighth, I started financing to my peers.
Oh.
So I remember, and at that point in time, I used to lend money to them unofficially, saying, if you need 50 rupees and you don't have it right now, I'm okay to give it to you, as
Mm.
long as you give me 55 rupees back after 3-4 days maximum. So,
Okay.
and it was all from a zeal, from a standpoint that, from a standpoint that I want to basically see and feel how to earn money. So it
Mm-hmm.
was always there. After that, I did a lot of ventures in school also, in college also. In fact,
Okay.
I remember after school, I went to United Kingdom for my graduation.
Mm-hmm.
Over there, I was the only Indian that got picked at Intel Corporation, United Kingdom, in their
Mm-hmm.
headquarters.
Okay.
So it was very difficult to get in that company, which is a world's largest chip maker.
Mm.
But entrepreneurs have this thing in them that if something is difficult, they would want
Mm.
to do that first. So I
Yes.
also had that zeal. As soon as a friend of mine told me in UK that the most difficult placement is Intel, I don't know
Okay.
what happened. I said, okay, if it's difficult, let's achieve that first and then worry about the other things.
Mm.
So, entrepreneur skills were always there. I like challenges. I was very, very persistent.
Mm.
So after doing my placement there and my graduation, I came back to India. And that is when I joined my family run business and founded two companies independently, which are running well right now and
Mm-hmm.
adding a lot of value in normal people's life.
Okay. Speaking of value, tell us what is the value that you are providing to your customers, and tell us in a very detailed way relating to your venture.
Sure. So the way our venture is laid out is that there is one parent company which is driven by a vision and a mission, which is to empower people financially.
Hmm.
And then there are separate companies which are supporting the main company to
Okay.
achieve that goal and that mission.
Okay.
How it works is, so suppose there is somebody in a tier 3 city who wants to borrow money.
Hmm.
You must have heard that a lot of high rate of interest borrowings were
Yes.
happening across the country, not even just India, but across globally. So we wanted to solve that. We wanted credit inclusion to
Hmm.
be across India.
Hmm.
And the first step that we took was we went to RBI and we took a NBFC license
Okay.
and we made digital lending possible. So we one side we have an NBFC and other side we have an aggregation model wherein we have tie-ups with a lot of financial institutions, right from the big banks to NBFCs, even to P2P to some extent. The
Mm-hmm.
only goal that we have is the borrower should be able to actually borrow money at decent rate of interest so that he is not overburdened with the interest EMIs.
Mm-hmm.
He's not overburdened and he does not get trapped in a vicious cycle. Now, this is one goal. When we started doing this since 2017, we realized that there's another problem that lies in tier 2, tier 3 cities, which is what do they do with their savings?
Mm.
Now, with your savings, everybody says mutual fund is great, invest in mutual funds.
Yeah.
But we found that mutual fund has one flaw, which is it is not customizable. So even a guy who wants to put in like 100 crores
Mm.
vis-a-vis a guy who has only 1 lakh will have the exact same product, exact same rationale, exact same risk.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas risk is to reward for a guy who is, sitting in a tier 3 city who has only 1 lakh rupees should always be better in his favor than compared to a super HNI who has got, hundreds of crores lying with him. Because for
Mm-hmm.
him, protection of capital is more important.
Yeah.
But for the guy who has only 1 lakh, growth is more important. That's when we launched a very innovative product by the name of Alphabot. So what it does is it is into automated investing,
Mm.
which means whatever the risk profile of the customer is, there is no exchange of money. So the money is in that person's account. He does not have to live in the fear that he will give money to somebody and
Mm-hmm.
that money will be manipulated and misappropriated and never be returned back to him. So like you have seen in the case of PML Bank or maybe DHFL, a lot
Mm.
of FDs have gone default, and those FDs are what hard earned money. So we have already identified few problems and then tried to solve it. So A, there is no exchange of money in that. Secondly, we have couple of tools and strategies wherein the customer can choose himself which one suits him the most. So
Mm.
suppose a person wants to increase his wealth and is willing to take risk, then there's a different strategy. Everything that we do is actually customer centric. We are not worried about the money because it's a technology driven company, so the overheads are very less,
Mm.
and we would pass on the maximum value of the entire chain to the customer itself. So we do that hardly charging 500 rupees per month with unlimited subscriptions. To
Mm-hmm.
some extent we also give few trial free of cost, but as I said, since it's a very scalable model and the baseline technology is ready,
Mm.
our aim is to create value first. Money will automatically run after us.
Okay. Uh, Speaking of technology, can you tell us a little bit about how do we empower things like Alphabot and other products? How does the technology work in identifying which stock to invest and all?
Of course. Priya, suppose Mr. Jhunjhunwala is there, who's the master of stock markets,
Mm.
and he's done phenomenally well. He's like the topmost guy. But there are
Yeah.
certain rules and certain parameters that he's looking after when he sits in front of the screens, right?
Mm.
Now think of it that you are able to map Mr. Jhunjhunwala's brain into a systematic algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
What it does is it will filter out everything with the same set of systems, with the same set of rules
Mm-hmm.
in milliseconds, throw you the opportunity at you.
Okay.
Now, when the opportunity comes at to you, you will obviously, a human brain takes time to react. Whereas an
Mm-hmm.
algorithm picks up the opportunity, absolutely set based rules, act on it, earn you money. In case it goes south, then
Mm-hmm.
there are always stop losses in place and it takes you out. So those are the kind of strategies which is possible leveraging technology. Also, one more important factor is you cannot be in front of the screen every day. I strongly feel that every person should actually have an active source of income, and
Mm,
they should have multiple passive sources income, so that they can do their active role properly and they still enjoy the financial freedom. Now what we have developed is completely passive. We
mm,
don't expect you to sit in front of the screen. We want you to do your active jobs, your active roles, contribute in India's GDP, and we take care of your passive side of the things.
mm,
Now I remember there was a corporate tax rate cut announced by our current FM
mm,
in October 2019, I think it was, wherein she announced that now only 25% tax would be levied on all corporates. In that single day, Sensex and Nifty jumped more than 5% each. Now,
mm,
I was not sitting in front of the computer, and I could not. I was probably at a dentist appointment.
mm.
But my algorithm was able to capture that move and make me earn a lot of money. So that is how technology helps you. And I think with Geo coming in tier 2, tier 3 cities, and enabling smartphones, I think India is a great center. That's
Mm.
the reason, Priya, you see a lot of technology companies growing and flourishing, because everybody is understanding that technology is the future, and that's how people's life will become more comfortable going forward.
You spoke about Alphabot, but you said Finway has a lot of products under its portfolio. So, can you tell us about the other products which are already in production or being built or even at a concept stage?
Yeah, sure. So, Priya, what we have done is actually we have planned Finway in a way that we know where we want to be in 2025,
Hmm.
and we started from a reverse standpoint in 2017. So
Okay.
we are, closely going towards our goal. Another product that we launched is digital lending.
Hmm.
Now it's a big problem that the DSA industry is very fragmented across India.
Hmm.
Ideally, what happens is, suppose Priya, you want to raise 5 lakh rupees, and you know that you will pay back on time. What do? There are so many options. You don't know which NBFC or which bank will fit you. So what we have done is, we have a lot of data and algorithms. With
Hmm.
the help of ML, we have developed an online mobile app which is called Finway itself.
Hmm.
Um, you just fill in your detail. We have checks in place and types with financial institutions,
Hmm.
and we give you the exact same financial institution which is likely to provide you the funds at the lowest possible rate of interest and in quickest turnaround time, without hampering your CIBIL score. Now
Mm.
the problem that we are trying to solve here is first turnaround time. If you
Okay.
give the file to any DSA who's only working with 3 4 institutions, he will not be able to give you the right solution,
Mm.
and the turnaround time will increase drastically. With
Yes.
us, with the help of data ML algorithms, we can give you and throw this exact same financial institution quickly. Second problem that we're trying to solve is, your CIBIL score does not get affected. So every time you apply to a wrong financial institution, your CIBIL score gets hit. And if the institution is not the right fit, your case gets dropped, gets rejected. And then when you apply to another institution, they will also, be very negative that why is the previous institution not granting loan? They must have found something wrong. Whereas the fact of the matter remains that there was nothing wrong with your profile. The problem was the wrong match, the wrong fit where you had applied. So that
Mm.
problem is being taken care. And the third problem is that we have gone down till P2P. So even if you are not credit included, we can take you straight to a P2P model. We can still solve your problem of raising funds for you. So that is another company that we are focusing on. Apart from that, I have acquired two more companies, which is in the same space, which is connected.
Mm-hmm.
and still at the concept stage. Probably one company will be launched in a month's time and the other one after a quarter, but everything is like an ecosystem. I don't want my customers to go anywhere else. I
Mm.
want them to remain with us, and we take care of all their issues and all their challenges.
Okay. Can you give us a perspective on the scale of operation right now in terms of how many users are onboarded to our platform already, and what kind of transactions that happen on the platform on a day-to-day basis, and any other statistics, growth metrics that you would like to share, which will give us a context and a perspective to understand your venture.
Yeah, so every venture has different set of users. I'll just talk about Finway at this point in time. So
Mm-hmm.
Finway caters to more than 5,000 distributors across India
Mm-hmm.
at any given point, which means those are the feet on the ground for us.
Mm-hmm.
They are offline, small centers who are working with us very closely,
Mm-hmm.
and they act like a distribution network for us.
Mm-hmm.
They are very helpful in a sense because people have got technology, but sometimes they are not very tech savvy, especially in tier 3 cities. So
Mm-hmm.
they reach out to them and they solve their problem of doing everything digitally.
Okay.
Now, apart from those 5,000 agents who are creating at least, 1 lead a day, which is like 5,000 leads, we
Mm-hmm.
have a set base of around 40,000 customers that we have already served and we are serving.
Okay.
So, those are the clients who are actually taking our services on daily basis,
Mm-hmm.
and they are a integral part of our journey. In terms of leads, we get anywhere north of 5,000 leads a day.
Okay.
In terms of fulfillment, we do, in thousands number of cases a month. We disburse close to 16 to 20 crores a month. Our book size is 250 crores plus.
Mm-hmm.
That is the sort of metrics we are working on. And now we'll be adding a lot of small ticket sizes, loans in our company. And the idea is to now reach out to tier 4
Mm.
and create as much value as possible.
Okay. Awesome. Uh, would like to understand how did you go about go to market with your venture, in terms of how the first set of customers or users came to your platform till the time you became product market fit, and any growth hacks that you have implemented to acquire users without spending a lot.
So that's a good one, Priya. Let me think where exactly and how we entered the market. I've always been very conservative in terms of spending on launches. So
Mm-hmm.
we never had any formal launch.
Mm-hmm.
So what we generally do is, whenever there's a product launch, we post it on social medias. We do digital marketing. Automatically, we take feedbacks and we continue to improve it. Now, I'll tell you the pros and cons of it. The main advantage is that we have been able to successfully become sustainable, self-sustainable. So that is our number one goal, because we feel that if you start any entrepreneurial journey with a standpoint that a VC will come, uh, give you funding and take care of your problems,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a very bad starting point. You should first create something which is solving a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Then you should be able to sustain it
Mm-hmm.
and successfully grow it. So, and also, I think, there are entrepreneurs listening to this. So, you are able to sell your product only when you're not seller. So if you take all these things, we have been very cautious of the fact that how much money are we spending. So we have metrics in terms of customer acquisition cost. So whenever there is a product launch, we
Mm-hmm.
take into account, we do budgeting around that matrix only,
Mm-hmm.
and then we go to market. So we know that every customer we are acquiring or every partner that we are acquiring is adding value to us, helping us grow. At the same time, it is not burning the cash flows that we have. We try to keep a runway of minimum 6 months, whatever venture we enter. Try to keep the cost as low as possible, as variable as possible, so that in case we get a overwhelming response, we are still able to take care of it. So that's how ideally we go about it. In terms of cons, then I would say you will never get inorganic all of a sudden a very high growth. The matrix is very stable. It is never non-linear growth. It would be very subtle, but it will be very sustainable. So that's the kind of model that we have built. And I think self-sustainability is the most important and is at the heart of everything that we do.
What are the different challenges that you have faced so far while building and growing this venture?
Lot of challenges. So number one challenge that I still face is the speed of things. So
Mhm.
as an entrepreneur, I'm always available,
Yeah.
at midnight, in early in the morning, whenever. And
Mhm.
I would want everything to be go at very fast pace.
Mhm.
But at ground level, certain things, what happens is that there are lags in terms of coordination.
Mhm.
Generally, the timelines are delayed. Everybody has other priorities also. They
Mhm.
have their family to take care of. They have a lot of things. And, one biggest challenge is obviously the speed that as an entrepreneur, I would want to achieve. But there are something or the other things happening
Mhm.
wherein the speed gets slowed. Second, I would say is, I wouldn't say challenge. I think I've been very lucky to get the right team members with me always in all the ventures.
Mhm.
But I would still feel that as a startup,
Mhm.
a big challenge comes is to retain good talent.
Mhm.
There are so many companies, big companies, big giants who are
Mhm.
well established. The kind of things that they offer to their team members as a startup, you can never match that.
Mhm.
Now, what you need to do is you need to focus on your why, your purpose, inculcate it in your team members so that they can see the bigger vision and then stick with you. So attrition, I would say, is also a big challenge which we are seeing. Is not because we are not taking all the steps, but because there are so many lucrative offers provided by bigger giants that it's simply impossible to compete with. And the third one, I would say, is COVID.
Okay.
COVID has taught us a lot of things. In fact, our journey and our growth actually started in 2019, because when we started back in 2017, it took us good 12 months to develop the product only.
Mhm.
But COVID happened and
Okay.
we could not see it coming. So
Mhm.
that's also been a big challenge. And yeah, I think those would be the three biggest challenges for us.
Okay. You spoke about speed and how you are always available even in the morning and late night. Uh, when you go that fast and when you stay energetic all the time, sometimes you just lose the momentum and you feel tired and restless, or you just lose the focus. And when that happens, the business also suffers. How do you manage such situations where you feel down and you're not feeling the momentum?
So I think an entrepreneur needs to have a lot of good habits. He needs to have the right mindset. He needs to do a lot of meditation, because the brain is continuously thinking about what can be added, how you can add value, how you can grow your business, and everybody is dependent and looking up to you. So I'll tell you how I have structured myself,
Mm,
just so that I'm continuously in momentum, continuously facing challenges also, but continuously converting it to breakthroughs.
mm,
So it's very structured. You exercise regularly, you eat right, you do meditation, you are generally, I generally try to read at least 30 minutes a day, because that sort of calms your mind, gives you a different perspective.
mm,
even when I feel burned out sometimes, because sometimes you get overwhelmed and you get burned out.
mm,
I think exercising and gymming gives me more strength and it refreshes me. So those are the things that I do. Sometimes I also don't go to the office. I work out from a cafeteria entire day, just with a piece of paper and a pen,
mm,
thinking where I'm going wrong. Because sometimes you need to get yourself out from the entire operational space
mm,
and see it from a third person's eye, just to see where you are going wrong. So these pivoting, regular monitoring yourself, regular matrix, all these things are very important.
mm,
And as an entrepreneur, I think number one focus has to be in terms of persistency. So you cannot just give up. If you give up, then you are not an entrepreneur. There will be so many tweaking, so many things continuously going your way or against you, but you
mhm.
just have to continue with the momentum.
Okay. What would you say is the meaning of entrepreneurship for you? How would you define the term entrepreneur?
So I think entrepreneur for me is adding value, creating product which adds value to
Mm,
a consumer's life is entrepreneurship. If you're not adding value, then I wouldn't say you're an entrepreneur.
okay. And my final question, as an entrepreneur, you tend to fail a lot of times, and when you fail, you learn a lot of lessons. And sometimes you can learn from others' mistakes and others' lessons which they have learned the hard way. So, can you tell us such lessons which you have learned the hard way, so that our listeners they don't have to go through the same hardship of learning while building their own venture?
Sure. So I think Priya, number one would be create your niche. Don't try and be somebody else. Because if you try to do a lot of things, you won't be able to be successful. Pick out your target market, pick out your niche,
Hmm.
be the best in what you do rather than trying to do everything else. It is not a small race, it's a big race being an entrepreneur. So your purpose has to be from your heart. So your why has to be bigger than anything else. So as long as your why, the reason for doing what you're doing, is very big and your purpose is very strong, even with whatever life throws at you, your entrepreneurial journey will never lose momentum because
Great.
you believe in your why. So without a why, don't enter into anything just for the sake of it.
Hmm.
Entrepreneurial journey is not easy. It has a lot of roadblocks, a lot of breakdowns,
Hmm.
but as long as you are having fun during that journey, you're enjoying, you're passionate about your venture, you will be able to be successful.
Okay.
So create your why before you try and do anything. So that's the biggest learning that I have seen. I have seen a lot of people doing which they don't love doing, and
Hmm.
then they burn out immediately. You should love what you're doing, only then you'll be able to add value in yours and other people's life.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's what I look for in whatever I do.
Well, thanks for your time, Rachit, and it was a pleasure to host you on our platform. Our best wishes for
Thank you so much,
Finway.
Priya. Thank you. It was pleasure being here. Thank you. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, Rachit.